Hi everyone. Dr. Aniket Banvi is once again with us. Dr. Aniket Banvi is a naturopathy and yoga specializing doctor. He has attended numerous international conferences and has been a speaker on many occasions on these forums, talking about naturopathy, about meditation, about yoga. So, in this episode, we're going to be discussing about emotional and mental health, and as we look at it from the approach of naturopathy and yoga. So, welcome, Dr. Aniket.
Thank you.
Yes. So let me begin by asking you this: why do we humans suffer emotionally and mentally?
Well, this is a very fascinating question, and even to a certain duration, I looked into that because even I have gone through a phase where even I had my own issues to understand myself, to know why am I suffering the way I am suffering, why am I not able to channelize my energies into a certain way, and this I would was able to understand after once I finished my all graduation and everything, and when I went back to reading yogic texts, and especially the as I always you must have heard me saying that in each of our talk, I quote everything from mostly from Yoga Sutras, which is a book of compilation of 196 sutras where they say what should be done and what not should be done, and how a yogi should live a life. And in that there are four parts, and in the very second part, the third shloka says that avidya asmita raga dvesha abhiniveshana klesha. Klesha means suffering. Now what are the reasons of suffering? The reasons of suffering are lack of knowledge, ego, and attachment, and hatredness, or sadness, or even uh, that is something, and fear. Abhiniveshana is fear, fear of death, fear of life, fear of anything in your life. All these five things are to be causing mental and emotional problems, or especially that. And if you see, the very first thing which says is that lack of knowledge. Now what is the lack of knowledge? Lack of knowledge of understanding our own emotions, lack of understanding of our own mental issues, lack of understanding how to put it out. We we humans, every human, whoever is watching it right now, is also able to think through his brain. No one else. I cannot dive into your brain and see what are you thinking, what are you going through. The only person who knows what you're going through is you. The only emotional and mental things which you are going through is you. And to have a much clear idea, what I most of the time say, and also I have practiced this, I writing down in the paper. And that gives you a much clarity, because we get to know what is our brain processing each and every time and each and everything. And how do we humans pick pattern. We pick a thought which is repeatedly every day or every few days it is occurring to us, and that is how we put it on paper, and that is how we break it down further. So this is one of the very first thing which lack of knowledge will lead to. And how to solve it? As I said, write it on your paper, bring it to the reality, see what is happening, recognize the pattern, and try to break it down. Now the second one was asmita, that means ego, and which also we say that I have done, I have made this, I have. So there is a beautiful quote which sums the whole word of this one by Dr. B.M. Hegde. He says that, I starts with illness, we starts with wellness. And this quote was so profound that I need not explain much further to articulate this whole essence of what is about ego, and what should be and what should not be done. So it is all about that, where the BMX quotes it that I starts with illness and we starts with wellness. So make sure that there is a lot of difference, and you try to bring a line between that. Now the third one is raga. Raga means attachment, and attachment to anything in your life. We tend to get attached to a pen or a car which we like, and what it does is that the universal law which I've understood over the years is that the only thing constant in our life is the change, and nothing is going to last forever, as everything keeps on changing. We humans tend to find a joy or pleasure in holding anything, or clinging to anything, or being attached to anything. It might be emotionally, it might be mentally, and that is when the problem starts. And what they say is that Sukasya Anusuya Raga, which means Sukha means pleasure or comfort, which leads to attachment. So anything in excess is also a problem. Anything in less or less attachment is also a problem. So it is our own duty to make sure that to have a balance in getting attached. What am I investing my time and energy into? What am I emotionally giving my time and energy into? That should be taken into a consideration. And it is very beautifully articulated that Sukhasya and Suya Raga, that with comfort, with pleasure, we try to do it again and again. If you see a child goes and eats always chocolates because there is a pleasure attached to it, the emotion which he or she is experiencing is pleasure. And the moment the pleasure tends to repeat more and more times, it starts causing problem. What that child might further come into a position where his teeth might start decaying, he needs some other health condition, xyz. So one leads to another, and anything which is being attached for a longer duration will definitely cause you a lot of problem. So make a right choice in what you are attaching yourself and what you are detaching from yourself. Now that is raga. Now the fourth point is dvesha, that is hatredness. Hatredness, which clearly we all know that we always have a choice of either perceiving anything positively or negatively as well, and it is always on our hand, and which is I happen to believe. Now this clearly says that hatredness tends not just to damage, any, it does not damage anyone's body, it only damages your body, mentally, physically as well. What it does is that when you hate someone, you are angry. When you are angry, your body activates something called as sympathetic activity, which is stress activity, or if it is done in a short duration, it is good. If it is utilized for a proper reason, it is good. But when it is not the right reason and you are simply getting angry, what it does is that it increases your stress level, it increases cortisol, which we call as stress hormone, and damages your entire body throughout. And hatredness leads to so many other problems as well. So they say that dukkasya anusuya dvesha, that means with sadness. When am I sad? When I am sad because someone said something to me, when someone did something bad to me, when something has happened to, something which was supposed to be not happening to me and has happened, and I am sad about it, I am hating the situation which I am there in. These all leads to the hatredness, and that again increases your own problem. None of the person who has harmed you will not have any kind of problem, the surrounding will not have any kind of problem. The only inner body, inner own self is being damaged at every segment. So take a step back, look at what kind of emotion are you going through, write it in a paper. That is why you must have seen many wellness coaches and all, what they say is that whatever problems you're suffering, write it in a paper and burn it. And this is a physical way of burning it out through your mind, and to get it out of your body, because the more it is going to stay in your body or mind, it is going to damage your own body, no doubt about that. And this is going to lead a lot of problems, and that is about dvesha. Now the fourth one is abhiniveshana, which is the fear of death, fear of life, or fear of anything in and around. Now we humans are very well designed to be always detecting threat, and I say that we humans are a threat detectors. Reason being, from the ancient time, when our stone age as well, we always look to survive, and to survive we need to be always alert and detecting that what is going to harm us and what is not going to harm us. And in this whole process, there is something called as an brains. This is in a medical thing which you can take into, is that there is a part in our brain which is said as amygdala. Now this amygdala is known to be a threat detector and also a threat detector of fear. So if a human being is having a fear, is because of that thing, because amygdala is activated and it sees that what is going to happen to me. I have, for an example, if I have stepped into a class, okay, where should I sit, what should I do, what is my teacher going to think, what is going to happen to me. Everything starts replaying in your mind. Reason being, your amygdala is activated and it is starting to see the threats, and it what is the fear. All these fear things accumulate because of this amygdala. It is working to help you, but when we humans feed it more information, when we give it more of hand to that to take over us, that is when it causes problem, and that leads to stress. And recently I was going through many other medical literature. What they say is that most of the diseases, that especially lifestyle diseases, stem from stress. And especially that stress, what is the percentage they quote is that 80 to 90 percentage of the humans tend to fall prey or get stressed and lead to these many diseases, especially. And the chronic stress, which I'm saying, the acute stress is a very good thing which helps us keep us motivated, push us to do something. But the same stress, when it becomes chronic, that leads to a lot of problem. And I was going through another literature recently from after COVID, and India is said to be having that 80 to 90 percentage of people being stressed. And being stressed of what? Being stressed of work related, being stressed of health related, finance related. Now that again takes us back that because of the reason why people are suffering is because of lack of knowledge. And it has already been stated in Yoga Sutra clearly that these are the pretty much 5 reasons why a human is going to suffer mentally and emotionally. So this, I want you guys to use these 5 elements or the 5 sutras, that is avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, and abhinivesha, to write it down and understand what stage and what is that element which is causing you problem, and where you need to rectify yourself. And that will be much helpful to you to use it as a tool as well.
Very nice. Superb. I think it's comprehensively covered everything about emotional and mental health of the human being. Fantastic. So, what would you say is the role of sunlight? Does it play a role in in emotional and mental health for a person?
Well, it certainly does, because sun is that element which only comes in the morning after 6, and it goes by evening 6 or 5, so 5:30, somewhere around that. So the fascinating thing is that when we get up and when we see the sunlight, or when we are out and when we are around the sunlight, our body produces something called as melatonin, and this helps in keeping our circadian rhythm in check. And I always quote this whenever there is a client of mine or a person for consultation and he's consulting for the sleep health or the sleep related issue. I say them that your preparation of sleep starts from the time you have gotten up in the morning, not from the evening. The reason being, the sunlight is a most essential element which provides you these process of keeping your circadian rhythm in check. And human beings work operate through their own biological clock, which is circadian rhythm. And the melatonin, which I'm saying, helps us sleep. As and how it gets darker, the body tends to produce more of melatonin, and that is why humans tend to fall asleep usually in the night. And as we talked in our previous talk as well, India is again a sleep deprived country, and that is causing a lot of stress, and everything is interconnected. Your sleep, your way of thinking, the way you are mentally and emotionally keeping yourself, all these things are interrelated. And we humans, especially in India, we are lacking in understanding where we are going wrong and how to rectify it. So that is one of the prominent thing which sunlight has in their process. The another thing is that the sunlight helps us synthesize something called as vitamin D3. Vitamin D3 is an element which helps us keep our bones in check, and it helps us in many other processes. What I've read is that vitamin D3 tends to help in keeping check of our lifestyle diseases. And if there is a low levels of vitamin D3, we humans tend to have heart disease and diabetes and many other such diseases. Now this is causing a lot of problem. And
I think there is a internet issue here.
I guess there was a
Yes.
glitch at my end.
No worries. No worries. Carry on. Go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, the sunlight is where vitamin D is that one thing which need to be checked in a human, and also to be taken in consideration. And people ask me again, come up to me and say that, so what is the best way or the best source of vitamin D3? How can we take these things. Well, there are food elements do have a certain small amount of it, but it does not gives you that much better efficiency of as the food which would you would give. But the best source of vitamin D3 is definitely sunlight. Sunlight is by far the best source of vitamin D3, and that is why doing for your workout or anything in open air and in sunlight is much more advisable, so that it helps you keep in check of your vitamin D3. And that is one more thing. And even there has been research is saying that sunlight helps us producing especially the endorphins, that is a natural painkiller, and also nitric oxide, which is also be said to be as the molecule of the year in 1998, and which helps in keeping check of your heart health as well and your blood vessels. So that is much more about vitamin D3, and especially on
Sunlight.
sunlight.
Sunlight. Got it. Got it. So, what would you say is the role of exercise and physical health in terms of your emotional and mental well-being?
Oh, well, that is very closely related. As I was saying, that uh, when mentally you are able to. I was reading a quote very beautifully said by Naval Ravikant. He said that your mind is as malleable as your body is. So when you're able to when you're able to mold your body, when you're able to do physical activity, when you're able to do and exercise, that is also inversely helping your own mind to create various hormones and neurotransmitters, which helps you keep in check. Now our brain is completely filled of various neurotransmitters, and this definitely helps in keeping check of many other things. And as I was saying, when you do physical activity, your body produces something called as endorphin. What is endorphin? So we must have heard of something called as morphine. Morphine is a painkiller. Now when it is set as endorphin, endorphin is nothing else but the body's own production of the morphine for pain relief, and it's a natural pain relief or painkiller which your body is producing. The number two is that your body produces dopamine and serotonin. So these helps in keeping your mood in balance and in check.
Hmm. I think there's a little bit of internet, choppy internet at the moment. We'll wait for you to get back. Yes. Yeah. I think now you're back. Yes. We lost you for a
We
moment.
lost it again, I guess.
Now you're back. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. You're back now. Yes.
yeah. Endorphin helps in pain relieving, and it's a natural
Mm-hmm.
painkiller which your body produces. The
Mm.
another part is that your body also produces dopamine and serotonin. These
Mm.
neurotransmitters are the one which helps you balance the mood and your mental well-beings. And this is a very prominent thing. And doing physical activity helps in putting all these things in an proper process and helps you get a better dosage of those things, which is naturally produced by your own body. You don't need to take a pill to have these things. If you do at least a 60 minutes of physical activity, anything which you like, will definitely help you get these things done. Then also, that doing physical activity, your body produces something called as nitric oxide, which I previously said. Nitric oxide is nothing else but molecule of the year in the year 1998, and it was given a Nobel Prize, and this helped the blood vessels to expand. When you do physical activity, then normally what happens is that your heart pumps the blood to all the parts of the body. And when it pumps the blood to all the parts of the body, it is sending all the nourishment, nutrients, oxygen to all the cells and muscles, which is utilizing these as the food or the energy. And if this is not happening properly, your stamina, your endurance is going to drop. That is why people practice it each day. And when you practice each day, this nitric oxide is going to produce help you expand your blood vessel, send all the right nourishments and nutrients and oxygen to the cell, and helps you keep your entire body in check. So this is very good molecule for your heart especially as well. And one more thing is that people ask us that, sir, why is it that when we do physical activity, only we lose weight? How do we lose weight? By doing only physical activity. And why every doctor or every physician or every nutrition or dietitian says us to do physical activity? Now it is said because there is a pathway called as AMPK, that is adenosine triphosphate kinase pathway, and ATP. So there is an energy molecule of our human body which is called as ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate. Now this is broken down into an energy, and to activate this pathway, we are supposed to do physical activity, and that is why people who have sedentary lifestyle are having a lot of health condition problem, and the energy is not being utilized, so it is just being stored and it is there in your body. When you do physical activity, this pathway starts cycling, and what it does is that it converts this ATP into AMP, that is 3 phosphate is converted into one phosphate and being utilized as the energy, and it produces a enzyme called as adenosine monophosphate kinase, and this whole cycle keeps on happening. Now when the researchers went back and looked into the data, they said that there is only two way you can produce this pathway, or you can activate this pathway. One is by doing physical activity, the another is by fasting. So these two things are the
Wow.
very great element in reducing weight. Why people who are on weight loss, they say that I'm on intermittent fasting, I'm on fasting for 3 days, I'm fasting for 5 days or something. So all these things because of this, to activate this pathway. So if you understand the basic crux why you are doing physical activity, you have a much better understanding of that. And the one more thing which we are talking about, mental and emotional health, that is, we say that stress. By doing physical activity, you reduce your cortisol levels. And as I was saying, when the cortisol levels are high, your body's pathway that is called as sympathetic activities changed into parasympathetic, or not parasympathetic activity. It changes and utilized as an energy. As I was saying, and the whole pathways get activated all together and helps us keep us in check. So these are some of the benefits which physical activity definitely
Express.
helps in.
Yeah. Yeah, I think physical activity, some designated time for maybe 30 minutes, 60 minutes in a day, consistently done over many years, will definitely show huge benefit. And also staying active throughout the day, some kind of activity throughout the day, getting up from your seat and walking around and again stepping back, all of these will definitely help. Yeah, thanks. So, what would be the role of meditation for mental health?
Oh, well, we just now talked about physical health, how physical health will help us, how physical health will help us, keeping our brain in
Emotional.
check.
Yeah,
Yeah, emotional and this one in check.
mentally.
So the
Yeah.
meditation is now about keeping in check of your own brain and your mental and emotional through your mindset, and that can be done through this meditation. Now the beauty of this meditation is that it, as I was telling previously about amygdala, the threat detector or the fear detector part of the brain, as you do meditation, this can be calmed down, this process can be calmed down. And a long term meditation has shown that the amygdala tends to starts to shrink, and the moment when it starts to shrink, it has no capacity to start detecting more of it. Well, it is a good thing that it is both good and bad as well, as because amygdala being there to detect whatever is going to harm us, so that is a good thing. But when it is over, that causes a lot of problem. So by doing meditation, it keeps us in check and also helps us know what to give our attention and what not to give our attention to. And amygdala is all about attention. Now if you see any advertisement or anything, they work on this specifically thing to grab our attention, and that is they are working specifically on attracting our amygdala. uh, this is one part of it. And also by doing a long term meditation, what it helps us is it increases our white matter. There is a part called as corpus callosum. It is connecting our both the brains like this. What it does is that it helps us send the information from right brain to the left brain constantly, and the more we are able to transfer these information better, we are able to process everything in our mind a much better way, understand the patterns in and around us, because we humans are constantly predicting or also constantly understanding the pattern, and we are a pattern recognizing machine, I say, or at least I believe so, because we are constantly see some of the other things which has a pattern and we relate to it much better, and that is, we are always on the process. So anything information, just like Yoga Sutra had the same information, and our medical science had the same information, combining and getting these two things helped me to process the answer, something like this. That is also because of the meditation, which has put me together to understand both the things, and put them in an alignment so that I can answer people in a much better way. So I believe that meditation has a much role in enhancing your brain's facility, because um, brain is that one thing which we don't know how to harness, and it can be done through just by breathing. Now if you see most of the meditation people, they say that focus on your breathing, focus on your breathing, or do deep breathings, or at least do alternate breathings, or nadi shodhana. The reason why they say is that there is something called as we all know that there is a left brain and there is a right brain. Now it is also connected to our nostril. The reason being, in yogic text, what they say is that this is ida and pingala. What I say is that this is IP, this is intellectual property. Now how do you, what is your intellectual property? Your intellectual property is your brain. Now how do you enhance it? By doing deep breathing. Why deep breathing? There are people ask me again, why deep breathing? The reason being, this has an ability to control your autonomic nervous system. What it helps is that activate parasympathetic activity, decrease the sympathetic activity. Sympathetic activities, fight and flight, that is more of stress. Parasympathetic activities, rest and digest, and calm and relax. Now this, when you are calm and relaxed, you are able to process more information, you are able to answer yourself, you are able to see much in much more clarity. So all these things happen, and by harnessing, you can harness your brain with your nostril itself, with your nose itself, by doing deep breathing and also nadi shodhana pranayama. And this is much more fascinating. And as I said, that meditation increases the white matter, that is the corpus callosum fiber, which helps you transfer the information from right left, left right. That is a major thing. And as I said, when you do meditation, certain part of your brain shrinks, certain part of brain enhances as well, which it is to be beneficial as well. And this whole process is very beautiful, only if you put into a practice, and at least at least 8 weeks or of 6 months, or there is a duration definitely. See, one day you do and you say that, sir, can we check the what kind of shrinkage is happening? No, that is not going to happen. You need to put in your time and effort, and you need to be consistently working on to help this process to evolve over the time. So they have a lot of benefits. You can practice them under a right guidance, so that you can go to a stage and also experience such beautiful things which your own body has, and that's beautiful.
Wow. Yeah, so our body is made in such a beautiful manner that it heals itself, it takes care of itself. No amount of external
Yes.
intervention is needed. Only thing is, we need to understand our body and we need to learn from the experts. So
So
it's been extremely good last 30 minutes, Dr. Aniket. And thanks for your enlightening information on various aspects of emotional and mental health. Looking forward to more such interactions with you. All the very best to you. God bless.
thank you, thank
See you
you. It
soon.
was absolute pleasure to be here with you, talking about the significance of health, especially on our mental health, which we tend to lack in taking care of. So yeah, but with this our conversation, I hope it reaches out many people, and it also enlightens many people.
I'm sure. All the very best to you. Take care.
Thank you.
These days, popping pills for chronic ailments have become the norm. The trend of over-medication and self-medication are getting far too alarming. Medications are supposed to help us, not hurt us. No amount of external intervention can help unless the body heals itself. Our body is known to be an abode of astonishing self-healing powers. The immune system of our body is sophisticated And the magical recovery ways of the body is much beyond the common man's comprehension. Holistic approach to health is becoming extremely relevant today. We need to empower our body's natural healing powers by adopting lifestyle changes for staying fit and healthy. And there should be minimum need for any medical intervention. Today's progressive wellness experts are working closely to ensure that focus is shifted decisively towards preventive healthcare so that people can enjoy the fruits of good health for longer. Chronic diseases and the so-called lifestyle diseases can be prevented and in most cases also reversed. We need to focus on educating and steering people towards an integrated approach to health and life and encourage them to make healthy lifestyle changes. Let's take responsibility to learn about our body and our health. On this channel, we'll be conversing with some amazing experts who are focused on optimal health, improved quality of life, and general well-being for all concerned. More power to holistic health.